everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be reacting to my 2024 early on season predictions. Now the Brisbane Lions did win the premiership, so yeah, good job to them beating up on the Sydney Swans quite easily. But we're going to be reacting to my season and ladder predictions. So how it works is you're trying to get the least amount of points. So let's say I predicted North to finish 13th. They actually finished 18th. That's an extra 5 points added onto my score. So I'm trying to get the lowest possible score. I believe last year I did absolutely horribly, which every year I do. And I believe I got something like 66, so hopefully I can beat that. But yeah, let's get reacting. Alright, I've just got the recording next to me now. I have skipped the intro just so we can get straight into things. So yeah, I actually can't remember most of my predictions. I can remember a couple off the top of my head, but yeah, let's see who I had in 18th, and I think I know who I had in 18th.
I do get a bit more of a read of some teams. So yeah, we
Just wait a bit.
got first all the way to 18th. And let's start off with 18th. This is a pretty obvious.
I think I had West Coast.
Many people have this team here, but it is the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, okay, so I had West Coast in 18th. Not the worst prediction. I think everyone pretty much expected West Coast to finish in the bottom three. They did. They finished 16th with 5 wins. They actually did quite well. Now, obviously, they picked up Harley Reid in the draft, and, you know, they actually had a pretty good run of injuries this year. So that's why, you know, they actually can sort of be a team that challenges a few sides. They thrashed the likes of Melbourne this year. You know, it caused a few upsets, and at Optus, they were pretty good this year. They actually won 4 home games. So, yeah, really good there. So, let's see what else I said about them.
Had a very horrible season. In 2024, they did get Harley Reid in the draft, so that was a positive for them, number 1 pick. Yeah, they just were very disappointing. Had a horrible percentage of like 50,
yeah,
60%.
They did really poor in 2023.
Definitely a season to forget for West Coast. You know, I feel like they probably will get thrashed a couple
Alright,
of
let me
times.
just skip this part.
Against Freo didn't look too. This is a very bold call. It is a bit risky putting this team at 17th.
I think I had Richmond.
But I am going to go with the Tigers.
Yep, okay, so the Tigers in at 17th. Now, I forgot to put up the tally. I am currently, I believe, on 3. The tally will be on screen. But yeah, Richmond actually finished the Wooden Spooners. I think everyone saw the drop-off for Richmond this year. They just had a horrible run of injuries, had a few retirements, and yeah, they're becoming a much more younger list. They got thrashed a couple of times, so yeah, wasn't a good season for Richmond. Probably should have had them a bit lower, to be honest, but yeah, they finished 18th, so yeah, I think everyone saw them dropping off this year, and yep, it's going to be a couple years on the rebuild for Richmond, I think.
Just think they are going to slide this year. Obviously, they in the draft.
Alright, let's skip a bit.
To place the North Melbourne picks.
Alright, so I had North in 16th. Now, they actually finished 17th, so that's another one added on, which now brings me to 4. So, not a bad start. I think the bottom easy was pretty easy to predict. But yeah, North in 16th, they actually did pretty well. They did pretty well towards the back half of the season. Obviously, ending off the season, they were pretty poor, to be honest. Like, they didn't really do anything at the end of the season. So, yeah, it was pretty disappointing. They got thrashed a couple times in the last 2 rounds. So, yeah, it was a pretty poor start. They obviously started off 0-12. But, yeah, I guess just another disappointing season for North. But, yeah, they should improve the next couple of years. So, yeah, not a bad prediction there. Alright, let's skip a bit.
Obviously, they do.
Had the Hawks in 15th. Now, that's not a good call. I don't know why I thought the Hawks would still be bottom 4. I think they finished 16th in 2023. Now, there's always this one side that comes out from the bottom 4 and then makes the 8. We saw it with the Giants last year. And this year, it was the Hawks, the most likeliest team to make the 8 from the bottom 4. I don't know why I had them in 15th. That's an extra 8 points added on. So now I'm on 12. Yeah, it wasn't good by me. Look, I just thought this was a year too early for them to jump up. I know a lot of people were predicting them to actually rise up. Not into the 8, but, you know, rise. Yeah, that was a stupid one of me. I should have had them much higher. They actually finished 7th. So, yeah, 8 positions off there, not looking good. But yeah, it's been a really promising season for the Hawks. They actually started off 0-5, and I was telling people, like, yeah, the Hawks aren't going to be good this season. But then they just got, they bet the Dogs. They beat up on my Saints, and there, they just got going. So yeah, they're a pretty good side now, and they should be making the 8 next year. So yeah, really young and exciting for Hawthorn. And yeah, they made themselves all the way to a semi-final. So yeah, pretty poor from me predicting them there. Let's see who I had in 14th.
And 14th, apart from the Bombers,
Okay, so I've got Bombers in 14th. That wasn't, again, a pretty average prediction. They actually finished 11th. Yeah, the Bombers just had the same season, same old story as last year. They fell away late. I think they were 8-2, and I think everyone was pretty much expecting them to make the 8, even though we do know that they can be a bit injury prone and they can fall away. Yeah, it was disappointing end for the Bombers. They just couldn't get going that back half, although Brad Scott is a pretty good coach. But yeah, they're going to be a scary team next year if they can just keep consistent. They fell down to 11th, so yeah, not a bad season for the Bombers. So they finished with 11 wins and a draw, so I probably would have had them with like 9 or 10 wins or something. But yeah, pretty poor from the Bombers to finish off the season. But yeah, it's an extra 3 points, so that is now 15 points. Not a bad start, but yeah, disappointing. I haven't got any correct bang on yet so far. So yeah, hopefully I can get a few more.
could probably make the 8, but they could also finish as low as like 15th. But yeah, I'm not too bullish on us in this season, so I have them in at 14th. In 13th now, I do have to put the Freeman.
Okay, so I had the Dockers in 13th. They actually finished 10th. Now, obviously, they probably should have made the 8, but they did fall away late. They lost their last 4 games to pretty good teams. I think all of them made the 8, their last 4 teams they versed. But yeah, disappointing end for Fremantle now. They did have a few injuries, like their skipper, Alex Pearce, and a few important players just got injured, which really probably cost them. They probably could have finished in probably that 4th or 5th spot, maybe even in the top 4. But yeah, disappointing end for Freo, but they did do a little bit better than everyone expected this season. They had a really good first half and middle patch of the season. They bet the likes of Sydney. They even beat the likes of Brisbane earlier on in the season. They really beat up on some top 8 sides, but unfortunately they couldn't finish it off, so they finished in 13th. So again, that's 3 points added on, so that is now 18 points, I believe, so far.
In 2024, I think they'll have a similar season to last year, obviously. But yeah, I have the Freo Dockers in 13th place. So coming in at 12th now, I'm just looking at this list again, and I feel like it's time. I know this may annoy a few.
Alright, I've put the Suns, I skipped a bit there, sorry. But I have put the Suns in at 12th. Now, they actually finished 13th. So that's not my best prediction so far. So that's an extra point. So that's 19 points I am now on. Yeah, look, the Suns, they sort of did how I expect them to be honest. I wasn't expecting them to have that really good home record and have that absolutely horrible away record. They just couldn't win away from home until, round 21 where Mac Andrew won after the siren for Essendon. I think they even beat Richmond in the last round. So yeah, they started losing home games. I think they lost to Melbourne in that last round, and then they also lost to Brisbane for their last 2 home games. Yeah, it's really disappointing for the Suns. I think if they had have banked a couple of away wins early, they think probably would have just snuck into the 8. But yeah, they actually finished 13th, so that's 1 point on. Yeah, look, Damien Hardwick obviously took over, but I think maybe this year could be the year for the Suns. Maybe a year too early. But yeah, they did all right this season, I guess. Sort of expected where everyone to finish. So yeah, that's 1 point added on, so that's 19 points.
Bottom, they were crap. They were like bull crap. They were pretty bad until like 7 years in. That's when the dynasty really started, and I feel like it would take a bit more time for Gold Coast to adapt to that game style.
Oh yeah, talking about
Damien
Damien Hardwick.
Pre-season, they just didn't really look on. Like, I know it's just pre-season, and it doesn't really mean anything, but it sort of does. Obviously, 12th is their highest they've ever finished. So yeah, I think they've topped that this year. A side in here that I think can probably make
who do I have in 11th?
But then again, they could probably finish as low as I don't know where I'm about to put them really. And that side I'm going to put in there is the Western Bulldogs.
Yep, okay, so the Bulldogs in at 11th. Yeah, I wasn't too bullish on the Bulldogs this year. They obviously finished in 6th, so credit to them. Yeah, I think the difference between them and last year was they were far more consistent this year. You know, I think they had a much better year. Now, they were pretty disappointing in that elimination final against the Hawks, but yeah, really promising season for the Dogs. A bit of, they probably could have made the top 4 if they hadn't have lost those early couple of games in the season to the likes of Hawthorn, who weren't in the best of form. But yeah, the Dogs actually finished in 6th, so that's an extra 5 points. And that's pretty average prediction again. But again, the Dogs were a pretty tough one to predict because, you could even see them making the top 4 as I just stated. But yeah, the Dogs in at 11th, so that's 5 points, 24 points.
They have a pretty good midfield too, so that's another good thing for the Dogs. Yeah. So coming in at 10th spot. Now, on this ladder, really all these teams are really
had trouble choosing this one, I think.
10th to pretty much 6th were probably the best.
Put Sydney in at 10th. Why did I do it? I know I wasn't too bullish on Sydney this season. What's that? An extra 9 points away. They finished first. They made a grand final. They obviously lost it to Brisbane, got thumped. But yeah, don't know why. They didn't have a promising 2023, and I thought they might fall away a bit. But yeah, I really underrated that midfield of Heaney, Warner, and Golden. And, Isaac Heaney had a pretty good season. And, yeah, they were pretty much dominant there. They did have that form slump. But, yeah, they finished first. I really should have had them in my 8, at least in the 8. But, yeah, having them 10th, I don't know why I did it, to be honest. I just wasn't as convinced on them, I guess. But, yeah, how many points is that now? An extra 9, so that's 33 points. So not looking too good so far. But, yeah, I probably should have put them higher. Yeah, I had them in 10th. Thought I had them in 9th. But, yeah. Obviously, a really good season for the Swans. Just a shame they couldn't get it done in another grand final. So, yeah, pretty poor for me. But, yeah, credit to the Swans.
Personally, I have other teams that stand before the Swans.
All right, now coming in at 9th. So, almost getting into the top 8.
I'm going to put the Swans there. So, in 9th spot now coming in, I'm going to put this side that I think
could be Melbourne, I think.
Probably deserving of, they could probably make the top 8. They could finish probably as low as 12th, but I am going to put...
Okay, I think I know who I put. I think I put, I'd put the Saints. So, yeah, I didn't think we'd make the 8. A lot of Saints fans thought would have made the 8. Obviously, we made finals and then missed out this year. But, yeah, pretty disappointing season for the Saints. It was a good second half of the season to finish off. We actually finished 12th. But yeah, it's disappointing. I thought we'd finish 9th. I thought we'd challenge for the 8 with 12 wins, but we made it at 11. And yeah, just a really poor start to the season. And a couple of close losses that really cost us finals. So yeah, not the worst prediction, but that's an extra 3 points. That's 36 points for the total tally. So yeah, obviously disappointing season for the Saints, but hopefully we can respond next year.
Finish there.
Alright, so now getting into the top 8.
Yeah, I feel like we can only go upwards for the Saints after we take a little step back. And I wouldn't be too disappointed if we finish any lower than really 11th, because that's where we can finish. But yeah, I'm going to put the Saints at 9. Okay, so now we're in the top 8. And coming in at 8th to rule out this top 8, I do have this team. I think they will slide a fair bit down the ladder.
I think it's Carlton.
But I am going to put the Carlton Blue.
Okay, I put Carlton in 8th, and they actually finished 8th, so that is my first one correct. I believe it's going to be my only one correct. So I do stay on 36 points. So yeah, the Blues this season, I told everyone, there were lots of Carlton fans saying to me, oh, they're not going to drop off. I think they'll be top 4. Well, look at them. They dropped off. Now, obviously, that was due to their injuries, and they had a really good, poor second half of the year. I think they lost 5 out of their last 6 games, and they only beat up West Coast. So, yeah, really disappointing. But, yeah, I got that one correct. I still thought they'd make the 8. I just thought their list was just a little too good to miss it. But, yeah, I think the Blues should be back next season if they can just get some of their injuries right. But, yeah, that's what really cost them. But, yeah, happy I at least got one right. So, I had the Blues in 8th, and they did finish in 8th. So, yeah, definitely saw them sliding this season, and they did. So, yeah, good prediction there.
Which was impressive. But, yeah, Melbourne definitely deserved to win that game. And against Sydney, they just weren't convincing. They should have won that by 20+.
Why am I talking about Melbourne?
I just don't think they were convincing in that game. obviously, yeah, I just don't feel like they did enough in that game. So the 8-point loss to Melbourne. Don't think the Blues can go anywhere. So yeah, I'm just gonna have them in at 8 for now. Obviously their list is pretty. Gonna do it this year again.
Oh, okay, so I put the Cats in at 7th. Yeah, that was a good prediction. I predicted them to make the 8. I thought they'd definitely bounce back now. A lot of people said they wouldn't. I just had a feeling they would. And they actually finished in 3rd, so they even finished in the top 4. It's unbelievable coaching. So that's 4 points, but I'm taking that, They made the 8. Yeah, it's pretty good prediction by me. I thought they'd finish 7th. I thought they'd respond, but yeah, good prediction. You just can never write the Cats off, can you? They're just a quality team. They always prove people wrong the next year, and I thought they'd respond. And yeah, that was a pretty risky prediction, but it was always a good prediction because you can always trust the Cats most seasons anyway. But yeah, really good prediction by me, but I didn't get it exact. So yeah, still 4 points, so I'm on 40 points.
But, I think their forward line is pretty good. Obviously, I think they see.
Okay, so I put the Power in at 6. They actually finished top 2 now. I think Power fans would be pretty annoyed that they didn't, make a grand final in the flag. Yet again, another prelim loss. Now, they did lose the elimination final by 84 points to Geelong. It was a really disappointing final series for them. They pretty much failed the finals, and I don't know when it's going to be time where they finally start pushing. But yeah, that's an extra another 4 points on. So that's 44 points. So yeah, pretty disappointing season for the Power ending. But yeah, they made top 2. Credit to Kenny Clee. He's an amazing home and away season coach. Just can't get over the line in finals. But yeah, pretty good prediction. Now, I believe I know who I had in at 5th, and it's not a good one.
Port at 6th. Not much I need to go into there. I think they'll still be able to win a couple more finals. Yeah, Port in 6th. Okay, so now coming in at 5th spot, I do have
Yep, it's the Crows.
the Adelaide Crows.
So where did they finish? They finished bottom 4, 15th. That's 10 points. The bloody Crows failed me. I don't know why I had them in at 5th, to be honest. I think everyone was bullish on the Crows. Obviously, they probably were robbed of finals in 2023. That Jordan Dawson goal wasn't called, and it was just disappointing for the season for the Crows. They should have responded, but it does put the pressure on Matthew Nicks. I think he should be fine, but yeah, they have to make the 8 this year. Otherwise, there's going to need to be some changes for the Crows next season. They do not make the 8. But yeah, disappointing season for the Crows. At least, make the top 10. They didn't even make the top 10. They finished with, I think, 8 wins and a draw. So yeah, pretty disappointing. They started off the season 0-5, I believe. So yeah, it's just not a good season for the Crows. And hopefully they can respond next season, which I definitely think they should. But, they could easily just finish in the bottom 4 again, which is where they've been finishing for the last few years. But yeah, not a good prediction, and that is now 50 points added on to my total, which is pretty disappointing. So yeah.
And just with the Adelaide home ground, and yeah, the Adelaide players. Obviously, I don't think Sydney would have been able to get a goal. Anyways, the Crows, they have a good list. They didn't really in Australia. Yeah, Dan Curtin, he is a very good player, so really need to say. In 4th spot now, I know there's a lot of, this side is getting pretty much. This is the most talked about side.
Oh no, I've got Melbourne. Why did I think Melbourne would finish top 4? I don't know. Obviously their injuries derailed them this year, and players had. A couple of their players had a real drop-off in performance, like Clayton Oliver. Obviously, we know the drug scandal, whatever's going on there. But yeah, it just wasn't a good season at all for Melbourne. They were just really disappointing this season. They didn't finish in the bottom 4. They finished 14th. So that's another 10 points. That's 60 points. Yeah, some of these predictions are really, really average, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know why I thought they'd make the top 4. I could have at least had them in the 8, but had them from 5th to 8th. Because, yeah, top 4, I don't know why. I just thought Melbourne, they're a bit more of a trusty team. And I still thought their list is pretty good. But, yeah, looking like they're going to lose a couple of players in the off-season, which doesn't help. But, yeah, disappointing season for Melbourne. But they might be able to respond next season for their sake, hopefully. Let's go on.
Obviously, they were very.
Oh, okay. So I put the Giants in at 3rd. Now the Giants finished 4th, so that's only 1 point added on. I believe I'm on 51 points. I will rewatch this and actually, have the actual tally on there. I can't keep counting in my head. But yeah, 51 points I'm on for the Giants. Giants finished 4th. So yeah, it's 1 point off. I believe I had them for the flag this year. Now, obviously, they went out in straight sets, but yeah, pretty good home and away season for the Giants. They did have that massive form slump, like most teams this season. But yeah, still a strong finish. They just couldn't get it done in finals, which was pretty disappointing. But yeah, not a bad season. Let's see who I had in at. So my top 2 is Brisbane and Collingwood.
So to finish off second, I am going to put the Collingwood Magpies.
Yep, so the Pies in at second, they did finish 10th. No, they finished 9th. So that's 7 points. That's 67. That's already worse than last year's. Yeah, look, the Pies this season were a massive failure. You know, they, again, like most teams' failure this season, just their injuries pretty much derailed them. They probably would have made the 8. Again, it was sort of a strong finish to the season, but, you know, they really got going from about round 5 to probably about round 12. Then they just had that, you know, then they just went back down again. They lost to the Cats. They even lost to, you know, they started off 0-3, and it was just a disappointing season for the Premiers. And yet again, there's back-to-back Premiers finishing outside of the 8, which is definitely surprising. But, yeah, not a good prediction there. So that's 67 points, which does leave me with the Brisbane Lions in at first. Now, they actually finished 5th, so that is 4 points on. So if I'm correct, I finished on 71 points. I could be wrong, but that's just going off the top of my head. So that's worse than last year's. Yeah, look, the Lions, they obviously won the flag this season. Credit to them. I thought they'd finish first, but they obviously started off 0-3, which really set them back from having a top 4 finish, and it would have just made it much easier if they had finished in the 4. But yeah, they won the premiership from 5th, so credit to them. They pretty much were the most informed team coming into the 8, let's be honest, apart from the likes of the Giants and even the Swans. But yeah, they finished first, and I think I do have my flag predictions on, so we might just look at these, see there. But yeah, I finished with 71 points. Not good, to be honest.
Brisbane, but
yeah.
Pre-season kick 4 goals, and interesting. So yeah, I'm going with St Kilda's Max King.
Max King to win the Coleman. That is the most stupidest prediction. I think it's because, you know, I probably thought that, you know, I had the Saints outside of the 8. I thought, you know what, let's just be a little bit biased. I had the Saints outside of the 8. I can be as biased as I want now. And I thought Max King would win the Coleman. I think he only kicked like 16 goals this season. He obviously got injured towards the back half. And there are even talks of him being traded, but obviously he signed a massive contract extension. So yeah, disappointing season from Max King. But yeah, if he can just stay out of injury prone this season, and his, you know, players can actually kick the ball to him and get it in a good spot, then he will actually be kicking more goals. Because, you know, the main issue for him was he was injury prone. But then again, you know, no one was kicking it to him. Like, we were just kicking it to the opposition players, and he couldn't get the ball. So can we make it a bit more easier for Max King to actually get the ball this season? But yeah, disappointing. Jesse Hogan won the Coleman. Absolutely, he blew it out by a mile. I think he finished with like 70 something goals this season. So yeah, amazing season with Jesse Hogan. Did I say much Norm Smith?
For the flag, I'm an idiot. I forgot. Listen,
I think it's the Giants.
I know Fremantle fans are going to hate me because this side is going to win one before that.
Yeah, so it's obviously the Giants. Now, yeah, look, the Giants went out in straight set, so that wasn't the best prediction, but I think everyone probably had the Giants finishing around the top 4, and I just thought they'd go all the way this season, but yeah, that wasn't to be. So hopefully next year for the Giants, and I would like to see them win a flag. I don't know, before Fremantle, I guess. Did I go through Norm Smith?
If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. Game against Collingwood, and that is the GW. For the flag, I could have Rising Star. I'm going to go with Caleb Windsor.
Caleb Windsor for the Rising Star. I don't know. He was pretty good for the first half of the season, but yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He just didn't really get that many votes for the Rising Star, but yeah, he looks like a promising young youth. Did I say Norm Smith?
Brown Coleman race, but obviously that makes.
Oh no, sorry, not the Norm Smith, the Brown one.
Yeah, I'm going with kicking like 60 plus. I think it will be a very close preseason kick 4 goals, and that's not the reason. I just think.
Alright, I can't find it, so that's just going to be the end of this video. I believe I probably went with someone like Nick Dacos to win the Brownlow, but yeah, those are my season predictions. I believe I got a total of 71, but it will be up on the screen there. So yeah, if you did enjoy, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.